I am constantly inspired and constantly creating something new. I just get bored really easily. So it has to be something magnificent for me to come back and be like, okay, I want to release this song. Let me grab it, let me write to it and form it for, to drop. So I would say, yeah, there was definitely some songs that have been dropped now, but I can't even keep track of which ones because I had so many at the time.
Hey, Reagan, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Yeah, this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the EP, which is awesome, and everything else you have coming up.
Cool. Sounds good.
Sweet. So first off, I always ask, where were you born and raised? I believe you're what, New York now?
Yes, I am in New York now. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. What was that like?
Um, I loved it. I wouldn't really trade it for anything else. I like that it had the perfect balance between like city and just nature, like the beach and everything. So I'm happy with it. No complaints.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in San Diego. I'm in Nashville now, but I grew up in San Diego, so it was cool having the beach, right there.
Yeah.
I didn't really take advantage of it too much, but it was nice to know that I could go there at some point if I felt
Yeah,
like
you don't notice that you have it
it.
until you don't have it.
Right, 100%. Do you come from a musical family or like a creative household at all?
Not really. I'm kind of like the black sheep of my family. They're all lawyers. So it's just me.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Were they excited that you decided to pursue this, or do they want you to go to law school?
I think there's they're torn. I don't even think they really know. I grew up doing musical theater, so I was always doing this. So I think they really appreciated it and liked to see me happy. And then when I started doing it professionally, they were like, okay, like, is this something that's actually going to work out? But the more that I'm doing my thing, I think they're proud of me and happy for me. So yeah.
That's great. That's great because you'll have a lot. I've had a lot of people on that were like similar situations, and their family like still doesn't get it unless they see him like on the major stage or some sort of thing like that.
Yeah,
But
there's certain family members, it's a mix. Like some people don't understand the music that I make. So that's kind of where it's like
uh,
a fine line. Yeah.
got you right on. Well, I guess so. You grew up in Miami, Florida. You said you were in musical theater, but what else did you pick up an instrument at an early age, or join
Yeah,
choir,
yeah.
chorus, vocal lessons?
Literally all of the above. I did vocal lessons since I was a kid. I was in musical theater, so I did acting, dancing, and piano, guitar. I'm not the best with instruments, but I can get by. But I'm more
Okay.
of on the performance aspect. And I started to write and produce my music in high school because I was always singing, I was always doing musical theater, like I said, but I then started to want to express myself musically and my mind in a sonic form, so that's when I jumped into that.
Your own songwriting, and you said high school.
Yes, songwriting and producing in high school.
Wow. Okay. So how do you like was it just something you were doing on your own, or did people at your school know that you were doing songwriting and producing, or was this something
Um,
that you kind of held to
well, I
yourself?
went to high school for acting, so I was doing like Shakespeare and just, straight acting. And I did it on my own. I started writing and producing. I started off on like YouTube type beats, stuff like
Oh,
that, just
sure.
starting to get my songwriting down. And then as I started creating like full-length songs, I realized that nobody else could mimic what was in my mind when it comes to production. Like I was never happy when someone hopped on my song and like made the beat. It was like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what my mind is telling me. So I just kind of took it into my own hands and started messing around with GarageBand and Logic and stuff like that and started kind of mimicking what was in my weird brain. And obviously over the years it's formed into like actual music rather than just sounds and clicks. So yeah.
Sure, sure. Wow. Okay. So you were in high school and you were just, yeah, you were what, trying to collaborate with people and it just wasn't happening. You weren't digging it.
Um, yeah, kind of, because I didn't even really think it was possible for me to make my own beats. Like I got in the hands of different type of, producers just locally in Miami and yeah, I just wasn't really happy with it, so I started just doing it myself.
Okay. And when you graduate or you finish up high school, do you go to college for theater? I mean, it sounds like that was a big part of your life.
It was a big part of my life, but I did a 360 and now I'm in college for recorded music. So I followed my passion. I realized that that was definitely my calling. I love theater, but I think like making music is my way of expressing myself and it's definitely feels like my sole purpose. And I still
Mhm.
get to intertwine my theater because now I perform my own music. So it's like now I have this all caps Reagan character that I, jump into every time I'm on stage. So yeah.
I love that. So you just went, but when did you really form Reagan? I mean, I don't even know if that's your birth name, but I'm going to go with that. But like, when does this become like your project? Was it something you were always working on, even from when you were screwing around with the YouTube beats and all of that?
Yeah, for sure. I would say not, it was like a subconscious thing. And my real name is Reagan. So I just like, I've always been that character. I think it's just a very exaggerated part of me because obviously I can be chill sometimes. But like, that is me just being like my utmost, most like performative self. And I think growing up, I was always all caps Reagan. And then I went through puberty and like, gotten more into my shell. And that's just kind of me really executing who I am on the inside and just being myself. But I always say my music is literally my mind in sonic form. So it's never like me mimicking anything other than how I'm feeling in that exact moment and just like expressing my emotions and my thoughts and how my body feels into, a production, into lyrics. So yeah.
Very, very cool. So you went to school originally for theater, and then switched to recording, like music recording, or was it you
Yeah.
went
So
directly for that?
so I was in theater for high school and I went to college directly for recorded music at NYU.
Wow. Okay, so you go to NYU now. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Was
Thank
that
you.
something that you had to like to go into to recorded music? Like, do you have to like audition or anything like that, or was it just like a different
Yeah.
process for that?
It's
That's
audition.
wild to have
Yeah.
your whole career or your whole high school be strictly, or obviously you're doing music, but mainly theater, and then go, you know what? Like I could definitely get in with that, but I'm gonna just go with the music aspect of it. So like, tell me about
Yeah.
getting in. How do you submit a
Um,
song, or like what did you end up doing?
So you have, it's really weird, honestly. You have to like create almost a video portfolio of like your best songs. And so basically I did like a compilation of like my favorite songs at the time with like lyric videos or like visualizers if you have them. And then
Hmm.
you have to write about each song and then you have to make like a 2-minute video of just you explaining who you are as an artist and as a person. And then you had to make like a bunch of playlists and explain like why these songs relate to you or why you connect to them and all this random stuff. It was actually really cool and it made me realize this is definitely where I want to go to school because if this is my application, then this is where I need to be. Because it was like
Yeah.
I loved that type of stuff. Um, so yeah, I honestly had no expectation of getting in. I expected to go to Cal Arts in LA. That's where I wanted to go because it was a very small performing arts type of school, which was the exact same thing as my high school. It was a small performing arts school. So I was like, yeah, this seems like my vibe. But then I got into NYU and I was like, oh, okay, like
That's
definitely
my
gonna go
vibe.
there. Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
you were gonna move all the way across the whole United States then, from Miami
Yeah.
to LA. Wow. I bet your parents were kind of stoked that you went to New York. You're at least closer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They're glad I'm closer.
What was your playlist? I mean, that's so awesome that they want you to kind of create your own playlist and submit that alongside your obviously original music.
Yeah. It was like a playlist. It was like if you are in NASA and you get stuck in space, what are like the 4 songs that you will take with you that you can listen to for the rest of your life or something like that. And I picked Marina and the Diamonds because I love her. I picked a Tyler the Creator song. Um I don't remember the other two that I picked, but they definitely were along the lines of my favorite artist. So yeah.
Very cool. Did that take a while? I'd imagine for me, I'd be like, oh man, like what could I tolerate forever?
So
Songs.
like it honestly didn't take me that long because I am the type of person that just listens to the same things over and over and over. So I was like, I've listened to this for 10 years already. I'll be okay for another 50.
Very, very cool. Were any of the songs that you submitted for NYU any of the ones that you've released thus far?
I had no songs released at that time, so none of
Okay.
them were. Oh, you mean, sorry, for the portfolio? Yes. I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah. Like, were any of the songs that you have up now, like on your Spotify, were any of those in the portfolio that you submitted
I
to
think
NYU?
so. Most definitely. Yeah. I think Coins was probably in there. Um, it's tricky though, because what I would do in high school is I would like make a song and I would make the beat and I would throw the flows down and like the melodies and then I would like not write to it for like another few years. Like I would just like leave
Okay.
and
Put
then
it in
get
like a
bored.
Dropbox or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. I have like this huge vault still that just is piled up because I feel like I am constantly inspired and constantly creating something new. I just get bored really easily. So it has to be something magnificent for me to come back and be like, okay, I want to release this song. Let me grab it, let me write to it and form it for, to drop. So I would say, yeah, there was definitely some songs that have been dropped now, but I can't even keep track of which ones because I had so many at the time.
Right on. That's cool. That's cool that Coins was on there, right? I mean, that's on the EP that's coming or
Mm-hmm.
out. Yeah. So that's rad that yeah, that song has lived on to be, and it wasn't the first one, at least via your Spotify, that you even put out.
No, not at all, actually. It literally released just this last November. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fairly new to everyone else versus, you've had it for a long time.
Yeah, I've had it for years.
Well, tell me about, like, so the first one you went with was Tim Burton. Was there a particular reason? I mean, that almost had a million streams as well.
Yeah, I dropped it because I was just so in the very beginning of me playing with social media and playing with TikTok, I was just like teasing a bunch of songs and just like, okay, what am I about to drop? I was just as confused as everyone else. So I teased Tim Burton and it actually had like this viral moment. So I was like, okay, and it's funny because it was not finished at all. It literally only had a chorus on it. The verses weren't written, like it was not ready. So it started blowing up and I was like, oh shit, okay, let me finish this song.
Hmm.
So I finished it and dropped it like a month or two after it started blowing up. So that was the reason I dropped that one. And then everything else, I just started dropping shit. Like it was just random and I was just like, okay, I like this song. Let me do this. Let me do this. And now I'm a bit more strategic with everything. I think it was overwhelming at first because I had so many songs and I was like, what? Like to me, my favorite is probably something some people would never listen to versus like, something that seems a bit more commercialized that I don't even really like that much. So I was just like I was just like playing around with things and getting comfortable with showing my identity to the world as an artist and just showing people who I am. So now with this EP, honestly, all of these songs I made in high school or early college. So these are all so old to me, but I'm
Hmm.
happy that they're finally getting out into the world, finally being heard, so that now I can proceed with the music I'm making now and kind of finally be on the same track with the world to who I am. Because, like I said, this was like my coming of age era. This was me finding who I am, not only as an artist, but as a person. Like, literally, me going through puberty, me growing up and being like, okay, who am I? So these that represents these tracks. And yeah, like I said, I can't wait for people to be on the same page as me, like see who I am now in real time as I release my songs that I make today.
Uh-huh. Which is, I'm curious, just because if I bet you once you start releasing, and I've heard this just because I'm making a prediction because I've heard this before. Like once you start releasing these songs that you're like, now in the midst, you'll probably already be, you know, 10 songs ahead.
Yeah,
And be
exactly.
like,
That's how
but
it
wait
works.
till these
Everything.
next ones come out.
No, literally everything is so slow-mo. It feels like I make like the music I'm making right now to release post EP. Like you said, once those are releasing, I'm gonna be on like 20 songs later, and I'm like, okay, okay, but now be on the same
Yeah,
page.
you'll be like, I've already heard those songs enough. Like, let's
Yep.
talk about these ones.
Yeah,
But having that viral moment with Tim Burton and just having the chorus, again, I've had other people on that have had that experience where it's like, oh man, like this is happening. Like now I've got to finish it. I've got to, record. You have to do all these things, right? Because you want to kind of strike when the song is viral.
yeah.
Was that something, did you feel like pressure there? You're like, like, okay, now I gotta like really, I gotta hurry up and do this.
Yeah, it's the best kind of pressure though. I think that's like the best problem to have is something blows up and now you
Sure.
have to hurry up and finish it. So I like that type of pressure. I was fine with it. I was catching a flight home to Miami to go with my engineer. I was figuring everything out like very fast motion, but yeah, it was exciting.
Very, very cool. So well, tell me about the EP. Fuck Reagan is what it's called.
Yeah.
So you said these are all older songs that you had. Was it hard to sift? I mean, I'm sure you from the beginning to now, you've probably written a million songs or a lot of
Yeah.
them. Was it
Yeah.
hard to kind of figure out and pick through to see which ones would make the EP?
The fact that it had to only be 6 songs stressed me out so bad because it was like I have like 20 that I want because it's almost like this is my era of releasing my old songs. After this, I don't really want to go backwards. So after this, it's like my new stuff. So it's like, okay, what 6 songs do I want to represent that musical era? So it was a bit difficult, but I have friends that helped me. I sent them like all these links and I'm like, okay, pick your favorite. So it was like one of those things. But I think I've compiled a good amount of songs that represent every aspect of that era. So I'm excited for the world to hear it and like I said, move on.
Yeah, sure. Because the whole thing isn't quite out yet, is it? It comes out like in a week or so.
It comes out this Friday. Yeah.
This
So what
Friday,
yeah, we kind of waterfalled the tracks, just
which is
one by one.
smart.
Yeah, just more of a marketing strategy. And then on Friday, 2 tracks release with it. The day like the main
Title
track,
track. Yeah.
title track exactly, Fuck Reagan, and then my ballad, which is one of my favorite songs I've ever made, 101 Dalmatians. So yeah, these tracks, like I said, they represent me coming of age, finding my identity, and kind of just like throwing it in everyone's face.
Okay. Well, tell me, I'm just curious to hear about is Fuck Reagan like the I kind of like I mean that's the title of the EP. Does that kind of sum up like is that song something that once you had that you're like, oh, this is definitely the vibe for the album, like or the
It
EP?
kind of happened last minute. When I made this song, I was completely just playing around. Like it was me being sarcastic and honestly just a satirical song. I was just fucking around. I never even expected to release this. But like I said, I have friends that are into my music, so I would always send them my music as I'm making it. So they heard these songs like the night that I made them, and they loved this song. Like this was something that they brought up all the time. Like you need to drop it. You need to drop it. They're constantly singing it. It's stuck in their head. So I was just like, all right, there's obviously something here. So I went in, I recreated the entire beat because the beat was so bad before. Like it was literally like the world will never hear it. But I recreated it and I was like, okay, you know what? This is an anthem for sure. Like this is something really cool that I need to play with. And it was actually my friend Ronzel's idea to make the EP called Fuck Reagan. He was because I was like searching for a title. This was literally like 1 or 2 years ago that I was even oh no, it was 2 years ago that I was even creating this EP. And I was like, I don't know what to call it. I don't know what represents all of these songs, da da da. And he was like, fuck Reagan. Like literally fuck Reagan represents this entire era. And I was like, amazing idea. You're brilliant. Yes, that's and
Let's do that.
I went with that. Yeah.
You said 101 Dalmatians is your favorite song that you've ever done, the ballad,
Ever done? No,
or
but on
on the
this
CP?
EP, I think, yeah, I would
Okay.
say so just because it's so emotional and so it's just so special to me is all.
Can you tell me why and like about the song at all?
Yeah, so it's basically written about being cheated on and kind of just like the realistic, real emotions that I was feeling. Like I can literally be put back in that time just by listening to it. And it's kind of like a juxtaposition to Frogs that's also on the EP.
Hmm.
Frogs is more me like being kind of a bitch about being cheated on and me being like switching the roles and kind of taking my power back and being like, you know what? You lost me, now all you're left with is frogs. You lost your princess. That's kind of me just being confident about it. But
Hmm.
101 Dalmatians is me being real about it and me being just really raw and vulnerable. And I don't feel like I do that very often in my songs, but in general, I feel like I'm constantly coping and trying to make myself feel better and always taking the power back so I'm okay and I can move on. Always like, putting myself in a confident position rather than being sad. So this was me just being super, super honest and super, super sad and, expressing myself in that way. And it's so special to me. So yeah.
You said it's more of a ballad. Like, is it like everything sonically different than most of the EP?
Oh, 100%. This is a ballad for sure. And it literally sounds like a musical theater ballad. Like it can literally be on Broadway. It doesn't even sound like like a song to me, really. It's literally a soundtrack.
Like a
And
story more so?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And the funny part about this is that the time signature of the song changes like 4 times. So it's like a really, really complex production. And I think that just goes along with how I was feeling. I was feeling so many different emotions and so, complex. So I feel like it just really aligns with those emotions. So yeah.
Amazing. And then it comes out Friday. Are you
Yes.
are you playing shows to support it, or like do you have like a party, or you gonna do something when the EP comes out?
Yeah, I have an EP release party this Wednesday on the 24th in Brooklyn. So, all ages, it's free. So I'm hoping all my New York fans will come out. My friends, it'll be a fun little get together. We're gonna do a really, really intimate live performance, just me and a keyboard, stripped down versions of all these songs, just giving a different perspective, a different outlook on them. So yeah.
I love that. I love stripped down versions of songs like that, especially
Yeah.
when you can take something that's fully produced and then just make it on like a simple on the keyboard or
Yeah.
with your voice
It's
or
gonna
whatever.
be really cool.
That is awesome. And you said you got new stuff you've been working on, obviously.
Yeah, too many.
Too
But
many?
I just finalized like 4 tracks that I'm finishing up, completing to have to, release post EP. So probably expect things this summer. I'm so, so, so excited about these songs. It's like now that I started doing, like, I went on my first tour and I realized how different songs come to life when they're live and with a full band. So
Mhm.
now I'm really incorporating that experience into my new music. And of course, I produce everything on my laptop, so it's all electronic, but I'm also incorporating live instruments and just like, I don't know, I have a new perspective on my music. So that's all going to be coming through with these new tracks.
Awesome. What was that tour like? You said you went on your first tour.
It was incredible. I'm fiending now. Like I need my new tour. I'm creating these like press boxes in a way. So super weird. I make mini houses. So like I can just show you right now. I'm
Yeah, I
creating
want to see this.
Yeah, so I'm creating these press boxes of like mini houses basically. They're like mini doll houses.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna like write some letters in there and just basically send it out to like realistic artists that I can actually open for and shoot my shot, see what happens.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah, just
Yeah.
send them out to people that you'd like to jump on their tour.
Yeah, exactly. Try to get an opening slot just by creating something intimate, artistic, creative, something that another artist could be like, oh, this is cool. They want to, maybe see what I'm about and see what I do. So, yeah, it's a very intimate project that I'm working on. It takes me forever, but I have 3 finished so far. I'm gonna finish 15 and send them out.
Wow. So you already know who you're sending them to.
I have a list, I have a list of like 30 artists, so obviously we're gonna cut it down with realistically who will actually get a hold of these boxes. Because like if I send this to Billie Eilish, like is she ever gonna see it? You know what I mean? And then
Maybe.
yeah, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna be crazy. I have high expectations and I'm very ambitious. I'm not very logical, so I'm just gonna do stuff and see what happens. Um, but yeah, to see who's actually touring, to see who's actually looking for an opener, but we're gonna cut down the list to a good 15 and send them out.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear who put you on their tour with this
Yeah,
box. I think that's a cool
me
idea.
too. Thank
Well, I
you.
appreciate your time, Reagan. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I have one more question for you. I want to know if
Yeah.
you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Um, just be you, do your thing. Don't do anything with the expectation of people liking you. Just be who you are, and I promise there's an audience for you. So yeah.
Bringing it back.